Okay, folks, I want you to do this homework assignment, but do it in Spider. I'm going to go ahead and do it in Jupyter Notebook just to demonstrate some things for you. So let me launch my Jupyter Notebook. My wonderful, wonderful Jupyter Notebook is launching. And here we go. Now I've got my Jupyter Notebooks open. It's establishing the kernel. I'm going to do a new Python 3 file. Okay, so let me demonstrate some things here. First off, we are going to talk about some finance stuff. So let me see here. Where'd my finance stuff go? Oh, I need to open up the assignment. All right, so let's go to Toledo Online. And let's take a look at assignments. Assignment 4 has been posted here. Finance, lists, loops, etc. So first thing we need to do is to install things. There are basically 3 ways to install something. This should be your thing. It says we need to install a couple modules, matplotlib and pandas. How do we install this? So to install things, if you have a Windows machine, the best way to do it is to go to Anaconda and then launch either PowerShell preferably or your Anaconda prompt, or you can install your launch your command prompt. Now with Windows, I think it's system prompt or command prompt. That's all you've got. You don't have. I don't think you have these in Mac, because Mac is already running on like Unix. So I'm going to launch my PowerShell prompt. Now, the first thing to always try is something called Pip Install. So you probably did that on the last one. I'm going to do a Pip uninstall, just because I'm crazy like that, and uninstall pandas. So we'll see if it, I can't remember if yeah, there we go, found it. And now, yes, let's get it out of there. For some reason it didn't like it. Oh, really didn't like that. But to install it, I would just say pip install pandas, like that. And then here it's probably, I don't know if this is really installing it. Yeah, it's just telling me it's already in, because I already did it. Now, if that didn't work though, what would I do? You need to look for something called conda install. Like that, okay? And then see if you can find it. So here, this one, you just do it this way. You do conda install. You just copy this and paste it into a window. And then that's how you would conda install it. So when you're going to do a package, try to pip install first. Pip install and then whatever the package is called. Then Google what the conda install is. So here the conda install is -c anaconda pandas. So, and that goes for any package. That's the way you do it. So we need matplotlib and pandas. I've already got these both installed. So again, try to pip install first. If that doesn't work, try to conda install. And then if you have an Apple machine, you may need to install something called Homebrew if your pip install and your Anaconda installs aren't working. And if all that fails, bring your computer to me on our Tuesday get-together, and I'll try and square you away. All right, so it says run the following code to get information from the ticker that you specify in the example. The ticker for Tesla, or in this example, the ticker is for Tesla, TSLA. Run this code for Apple, Microsoft, and General Motors. Okay, all right, what are we talking about? So let's go ahead and launch Spider. So I'm running Spider now. Spider's coming up on my other screen, or else you'd be able to see it. But I'm going to do mine here. So when you guys do this homework, do it in Spider. I'm going to do this in here, though, just because it's better for demonstration. So I'm going to say import date time as DT. So here's what we're doing. Rather than just referring to the module throughout, we're giving it a shortcut, okay, like a shorter name that we can use. So date time should already be with your stuff. Again, if it's not, if it says, hey, I don't know what you're talking about, then you need to install it. So we're going to import matplotlib.pyplot as plt, matplotlib, import style, import pandas as pd, import pandas, data reader, data as web. Okay, so that's all of our import statements. I can run this now and bring those all in. It's got the star there. What this is warning me is that there's a feature inside pandas, which is a package that will eventually be what they call deprecated. So deprecated means that it used to work, but eventually it's not going to work very well, and then it'll stop working altogether. So this is just a warning. It's saying in the future warning, that this will not work as well. But they don't have the update out yet, so you just need to worry about this thing. But it ran okay, so I imported all this stuff. If you got an error message that said it couldn't find something, it means you got to install it. Okay, so I'm going to set a style. I don't think I actually need that here, but start. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to specify a date. I'll say 2005. January 1st, 2005. Why? Because, I don't know. It's the first year I had my business. And then the end, I'm going to specify an end date. We'll say December 31st, 2005. Okay, so I've got a beginning and end date. These are the dates that I want to pull up stock quotes for. So I'm going to say df equals web dot data reader. And then I'm going to put in some stock quotes here. So in your instructions, I said I want to see it for Apple. And I want to pull this from a data source called Yahoo. And then start end. All right, so, and I want to pull up the quotes for that time. And I'm going to print them out. Now, head means the first 5 records. So if I run this, it should give me stock quote information for the first 5 stock trading days of that time period, and there it is. Now, what are my options here? I can do head, I can do tail, and that'll give me the last 5 records of the data set. Okay, so I can actually put these like here. The other thing I can do is do like specific rows. So I can do print df dot and then put in the records that I want. So let's say I want the 50th through the 55th records. I can run that. And it didn't like it. What's wrong with what I did? I don't need the period. Let's run it. Ooh, it didn't like that either. Ooh, that should have worked. What is wrong with that? DF55, blah, 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 blah. Let me return to that one. That one should have worked. Huh, strange. Let me do print df. I'm a little surprised that didn't work. I run this. And then when I do it, it just shows there's all 252 rows in 6 columns. So that's just everything. I don't know why it didn't do that, but now here, the other thing is with tail, I can do the last 10 records if I want. Right? And same thing with head. I can do the first 10 records. So you can specify how many at the beginning or the end of the data set that you'd like to see. So let me try this again. This should have worked. Let me try this. I'm just going to copy the example from the homework that I gave you right in there. That should work, and it didn't. So, oh no, it did that time. I must have typed something wrong. All right, so maybe I had a space in here or something. So yeah, so you can specify certain rows. So it's the 50th through the 155th, or through the 55th row, etc. So this is kind of our first financial application. We can pull up stock quote data for all kinds of companies. I mean, it's crazy. Okay, so when you do this in Python, what it says is that I want you to do this for Apple, Microsoft, and GM. Basically, repeat this code, like this df right here, for Apple, Microsoft, and GM. So like if I do Microsoft now. And you can just do the head where it shows the first however many. And then GM. I think GM is, I think this is the ticker for General Motors. Oh, maybe it isn't. What is the ticker for General Motors? Let me find out. It's probably something weird. No, it should be GM. Why doesn't it like GM? Who knows? If you can't get GM to work, maybe it's maybe it's because they got wiped out in the financial crisis or something. Let's try this. Okay, so that worked. There was something about the date, and it probably is because the stock got swapped out, something weird like that. Just pick a date set that works. So make sure you run this for several different stocks. Experiment with it the way I was showing you. So and just put it all in line in Spider. So that's number one. So the first part of your homework assignment should have you just work with this thing. Now, I know you guys want like super anal retentive guidance on this. No, just read the assignment. Meet the requirements of the assignment. Use your skills of interpretation here. Don't, I'm going to grade this relatively liberally. Just meet the terms of it. So run this code for Apple, Microsoft, and GM. Run it 3 times. Experiment with these things. Figure out why it's working. Okay, so now I've got some questions you need to answer. I would like you to watch as I demonstrate a few things here because people have been asking some questions, so I feel like I need to redo some things here. So let's set some variables. Y equals 3, C equals 2. Just have a couple variables. I'm going to run that. Okay, so that's just sitting there inside Python's brain. And I'm going to say if Y is greater than C, what happens? We'll say print greater than C, and then I'll say print processing complete. Okay, what's going to happen if I run this? Well, Y is greater than C, so it should print greater than C and then print processing complete, right? Now, I'm going to emphasize this because last time we got together, there were students that still didn't know this. It's a little scary. If you're just copying my code into your code, then you're not learning anything. This isn't a typing class. So I need you to think about this. We said before, indentation is important in Python. So what this is saying is, if Y is greater than C, then do everything that's indented. Okay, what if I did this? Like that. What's the difference? The difference is that it's only going to do the indented part if the if statement is true. Everybody with me on this? It will do this if the if statement's true. This is just the next statement. It will do this every time no matter what. So let's flip this. Let's go C and Y here like this. All right, and C. I guess I could have done this a little more easily by just flipping the symbol. All right, so now let's run this. What's going to happen? Nothing will print, right? Because that's not true. But what if we run this? This will not print, but this will, right? So indentation is very important, and you have to understand why the indentation works the way it does to control program flow. Okay, let's talk a little bit about lists. So in Python, you can load several values into a list. In fact, we've done that with a few of our assignments. So we'll say list1 is equal to, and then you put a square bracket. You can put the values of the list in there, 4. So this list is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then should be a square bracket at the end. So if I run this, now there is a list called list1 that contains these values. Let's talk about a while loop. So I'm going to set a counter. Excuse me. So the counter is equal to 0, right? Computer science, let's think in terms of starting with 0. Then while count is less than 4, what do we want to do? Let's print list 1. Now I'm going to put this count. Okay, so what is it doing? It's going to grab a value from the list with the subscript equal to this. This is the 0th thing in the list. There's the first, second, third, right? So 0, 1, 2, and 3. And that's how it'll print it out. So if we run this, plus we better increment this count. If we run it, there's the output. It just prints out everything in the list. All right, now, this is the old school way to do this, but there's a better way that's more Python-y to do it, and that's with using for item in list 1. Now, item is just defined by us. This could be like parakeet, but we're going to say print item, and I'm going to run it. So what this did was it just said for every whatever in list 1, and it just went through one at a time. Now, like I said, this is a term we define. We could say parakeet. Print. Runs the same way. So this is defined by us. Okay. So for every one thing in a list, and we can call it whatever we want, then we're printing whatever that thing is. Now, another thing is if you have a string. So we're going to say 4-letter banana. And this will print each letter in the word banana. Okay. Doesn't have to be letter. That's just meaningful to us. Again, this could be, parrot. For parrot and banana, print the parrot. Right. So it doesn't matter what we call this. That's just for us to be able to use it better. All right, so let's go to another list. So I'm going to load up some band names. Okay, so when I click run, now there is a list called bands, and it has 3 things in it. So I'm going to say for band in bands, print band. And there we go, it prints these things. Now, I can put some logic under here. If the band is equal to Beatles. Now, what I can do is say continue. Now, what continue does whoops. What continue does is it makes it jump out of the loop. Whoops. What did I do wrong? Oh, need another quote. So what happened here, it went crowded house stones, but continue made it jump out of the loop and then go back and keep doing the loop, right? So if it's just sort of a way to say, kind of don't do anything if it's this. Just keep doing the loop, but don't do what the loop says here. Continue jumps from here back kind of up to here is what it does, okay? So that's what continue does. All right, now, the other thing you can do, you can use the word range. It's got some meanings too, for X in range. And I'm going to say this range is 0 to 6 is what this means. Because I didn't specify a beginning, so it says the beginning is 0. Print X. All right, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. So what it's saying is the range is 6 items long, but it starts at 0. All right. So what I could say here is for X in range, print X. Now, you can also have an else in a for loop. What the else does is it says, well, what if this isn't, like, what if we're out of the range? What if we can't do this? What do we do? All right, so what it did was it did all these things, and then when it couldn't do this thing anymore, then it went to the else. Last thing I'm going to do, let's see, so you can also have it jump by certain amounts. So x in range. First, let me do it like this, 327. All right, and then we'll print x. Whoops. And when I run it, what does it do? It prints all of the numbers between 3 and 27. Stops before it gets to 27, though. So it's like the range only goes so far. Now, if I put another number in here like 3, it'll do it by 3s. Okay. So, main thing I wanted you to know here is, man, you guys got to be on the ball with this indentation. That is how your program flow is controlled. And then here are just different ways to loop, right? All these for loops and just different ways to control them. So on the homely work, where is that? Here we go. And it is so homely. But in part 2, just do these things one at a time. Put it in your spider, though. Just have it run this code. And this is just one big long program. Have it do all these things, okay? Here it says in the next window. You can, if you want to, you can do these things separately in Jupyter Notebooks, like do this thing in Jupyter Notebook and do these in Jupyter Notebook. So I'll let you do it either way. If you do it in Jupyter Notebook, though, it's harder to kind of paste everything in. Paste all your code into a Word document and then show me your output. And then that's it. Just upload it. So good luck with this, everybody. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you soon.